in the emerald heart of England, where ancient oaks whisper secrets and misty moors cradle forgotten tales. The 23rd of April dawns with a fervor that stirs the soul of the nation. This is St. George's Day, a celebration of England's patron saint, a hero whose legend weaves together the threads of history, myth, and folklore into a vibrant tapestry of courage, faith, and national pride. Let us journey through the mists of time, where dragons roar, knights clash, and the spirit of England rises like a phoenix from the ashes of legend. Our story begins in the late 3rd century, in the far-off Roman province of Cappadocia, modern-day Turkey. George, born to a Christian family, rose through the ranks of the Roman army, his heart ablaze with devotion to his faith. When Emperor Diocletian unleashed a brutal persecution of Christians, George refused to renounce his beliefs, standing defiant before the might of Rome. His courage cost him his life. He was martyred on April 23, 303 AD, beheaded for his unwavering faith. Word of his bravery spread, and George became a symbol of resistance and righteousness, revered by Christians across the Roman Empire. By the 4th century, George's fame had reached the shores of Britannia. Churches were dedicated to him, and his story took root in the hearts of the early English. But it was not until the Middle Ages that St. George would become England's patron saint, his legend entwined with the nation's identity. No tale of St. George is complete without the dragon, a creature of fire and terror that looms large in England's mythic landscape. The most famous legend, drawn from the medieval Golden Legend, tells of a city called Cyllene, plagued by a venomous dragon that demanded human sacrifice. When the king's daughter was chosen as the next victim, clad in white and trembling before the beast, George rode forth on his steed, his armor gleaming like the dawn. As the dragon reared, its scales glinting like molten iron, George raised his lance, Ascalon, and drove it into the creature's heart. The beast fell, and the city was saved. In gratitude, the people of Cyllene embraced Christianity, and George's name became synonymous with heroism. This tale, though likely a metaphor for the triumph of good over evil, captured the imagination of medieval England, where dragons lurked in the shadows of folklore. From the fire-breathing whims of Anglo-Saxon tales to the serpent-like creatures haunting the fens. By the 9th century, St. George was venerated in England, but it was the Crusades that elevated him to national prominence. English knights, clad in chainmail and bearing the red cross of St. George on their shields, fought in the Holy Land, inspired by visions of their saintly protector. Legend claims that during the siege of Antioch in 1098, a spectral St. George appeared, leading the Crusaders to victory. His red cross became a rallying symbol, emblazoned on banners and hearts alike. In 1348, King Edward III founded the Order of the Garter, England's highest chivalric honor, with St. George as its patron. The king declared him the nation's protector, supplanting St. Edmund the Martyr and St. Edward the Confessor. By 1415, St. George's Day was a major feast, cemented in English culture after the Battle of Agincourt, where soldiers invoked his name as they triumphed against overwhelming odds. The red cross on a white field became England's flag, a symbol of unity and defiance. The dragon itself is a creature of England's deep mythic past. In Anglo-Saxon lore, beasts like the dragon of Beowulf guarded hoards of gold, while in Celtic tales, serpents symbolized the untamed power of the land. St. George's victory over the dragon resonates with these stories, casting him as a Christian hero who tames the wild forces of chaos. In some regions, Villagers once lit bonfires on St. George's Day, a nod to ancient rituals that banished evil spirits and welcomed the warmth of spring. English folklore also whispers of other heroes who share George's mantle. The Green Man, a forest spirit carved in medieval churches, embodies the cycle of life and rebirth. His leafy visage, a counterpoint to George's martial glory. Robin Hood, the outlaw of Sherwood, carries the same defiance against tyranny, his green tunic echoing the verdant spirit of England. On St. George's Day, these figures blend into a collective celebration of the land's resilience and the people's indomitable will. In modern England, St. George's Day is a vibrant mix of tradition and revival. In London, Trafalgar Square hosts festivals with folk music, Morris dancing, and reenactments of George's dragon-slaying feat. Pubs hoist the red and white flag, serving ale and hearty fare like roast beef and Yorkshire pudding. In rural hamlets, children don paper armor and parade as knights, while churches hold services honoring the saint's martyrdom. Across England, communities embrace the day with pride, weaving new stories into the old, tales of a multicultural nation where St. George's valor inspires all. As the sun sets on April 23, 2025, casting golden light over England's rolling hills, the spirit of St. George endures. He is more than a saint or a myth. He is the embodiment of the English soul, fierce yet compassionate, rooted in the land yet soaring toward the heavens. His story, enriched by centuries of folklore, reminds us of the power of courage, the triumph of hope, and the enduring magic of a tale well told. So raise a glass to St. George, slay your own dragons, and let the red cross fly high. For in England's heart, where myth and history dance, his legend lives on, as eternal as the oaks, and as bold as the dawn. Many thanks for treading this tale's path. If this story has gripped you, please like, follow, subscribe, and comment below for more British folklore and legends.